I can answer any questions they have.
To say, is your signature on? So they should be aware that some of the stuff comes down.
They know what's coming, yeah, they do know what's coming. Yeah, that was brought up in the next year.
Yeah,
What we doing?
because they made that change. It was artificially limited to 3 times, right?
By state law, we can do 4. Why we're using that 4th one is beyond comprehension. So, but now we've got it planned out their hard dates for every year.
Let's get some to look at, because I know that typically what I've seen is with the, you see, arbitrary is that you get a couple together and you'll do a hearing. And then here comes the straggler. Like, we can only know, because you don't want to burn a whole other hearing for just one project.
Now Sean has put hard dates up for the developers, so they know that they have to have the planning commission in the house in a timely fashion.
And we need to follow up. I've been going through.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I see smiles on everybody's faces, I hope.
We're going through the details on the 1383. Council meeting either tonight. So that's, so we can get next week changed. Everybody through.
Yes, it's nice to meet you today.
No, we gotta go report. Before we do that, of course, we have to find out. Besides you, there will. Well, they're out there. It's gonna be. There's no water anywhere else. So this is. We're in a holding pattern. You don't have to. Hey.
It's gonna be a couple minutes, folks. You're gonna get a city attorney and the city manager.
I'm in charge of storage in Colorado, and if y'all, the city would see something for the black house.
And then maybe somebody wants to buy
Hey, stranger. Good. City planner, Jim said you were the previous chairman.
Yeah.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, back, Mr. Benthausen, do you have a report?
So this was a special meeting that was a closed session, so there was a discussion by council on one potential litigation item. Direction was given, nothing to report.
Okay, thank you, sir. Looking for a motion to adjourn this portion?
Make that motion.
Looking for a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye opposed? We're done for that. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the regular City of California City Council meeting. Tuesday, October 8th, 2019. Regular meeting starting on silent, please. And this meeting is called to order. Would everybody please?
And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Make sure it's turned on.
That I will take this obligation freely,
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully discharge
and that I will well and faithfully discharge
the duties upon which I'm about to enter.
the duties which I'm about to enter.
So, where's the family?
Come on up.
This is the one time you can stick him and hurt him.
Take your time.
Take your time. Don't worry about it.
Be done by 7.
I gave the kids the hardest job.
All right. I think the sun should make you bleed. Just make it worthwhile.
Congratulations.
I always forget how much.
Congratulations, thank you.
That rocks. Okay, civic community organization announcements. Are there any civic community? Oh, there we go.
There was a call that was made out on Facebook, the request was made that the pastors would get together and have a revival here in town. Well, there were some people that got together and says, well, we're not gonna wait on the pastors, we're just gonna have the revival. So I'm here to, announce that for some time, some of the city's, Christians have been getting together at 8100 California City Boulevard, Suite 101. And they are putting together a citywide California Cities revival. And they're soliciting prayer. There's no date yet because we want California City to participate. So we support California Cities revival. Every Thursday night at 6:30, you can come and be a part of bringing the entire city, not just a couple of churches, but the entire city. Everybody wants to come, of course, back to the Lord, so we can have a city where we are proud to have our children play in the street. We're working towards that. So we want to let everyone know that you can come. It doesn't matter if you're a child of God and you're in the city of California City, you rate. You can come.
Thank you, sir. Is there?
Mayor, if I could.
Yes, sir.
Just go briefly. Yeah, the chief had a couple of department announcements.
Okay.
My apologies, I forgot to tell Denise right off the bat, but I would like to say that I'm very humbled and extremely honored for the opportunity to lead our fire department as the new chief of the fire department. I look forward to working with the community and the community leaders and making the city the best that we can possibly make it. And as part of that, we have our new hires that I'd like to present to you. They're here today in the front row. I'd like to have them come up. Our first hire, engineer paramedic, Luis Cervantes. Can you please come up? Engineer Kyle Griffith. Paramedic Brad Braswell. And firefighter paramedic Edgar Hernandez. So by then today, they should be completing training by the end of the week. And next week, they'll be assigned their new shifts to start their day on the engine.
John.
Better late than.
Thank you, council.
And also congratulations to our new captains.
Absolutely. Sorry, it's been a long, hectic day. My apologies again. If I could have our two new captains also come up. We have Captain Oswaldo Guerrero. He's a captain paramedic. He was promoted a little while ago, a little bit late, but better late than never. And also captain paramedic.
Same height, right?
No, thereabouts. Congratulations, Chief.
Thank you, council. I appreciate your support. Thank you, Mr. City Manager.
Thank you.
So is there any other civic or community organization announcements? Hearing none, seeing nobody coming up. Consent calendar. All items on the consent calendar are considered routine and non-controversial and will be approved by one motion. If no member of the council, staff, or public wishes to comment or ask questions, public comments will be limited, please, to 3 minutes. Roll call vote is required. CC1, approved city check register dated through 10/3/19. CC2 minutes dated 8/13/19, waived readings of subject minutes approved as written and ordered filed. CC3, the California City Police Department DOJ audit findings. With that, does anybody, we'll go with public first, or wish anything pulled or discussed?
Sorry, Al. Tammy Johnson, California City. I have questions on, well, 2 checks. One is 106,356 for Paragon Investigative Services for $9,250. The other one is actually Andy Heath Financial, and I just want to know how long we anticipate using Andy Heath Financial, because just for that 2-week period, it's $8,125. So how long do we plan to continue using them? Are we going to fill a finance manager position?
Ma'am, would you respond?
Just those 2.
The amount or how long we can handle it up to the council, and we'll probably visit that after the budget is approved. And Paragon was an investigation done when our former HR director was here.
Who, am I allowed to ask who investigated, and are we, for investigative services, the council doesn't have to approve an amount that high? $9,000?
Moving forward, they're gonna know about it from now on, who we use and how much it costs. And it's confidential.
So, while I'm up here, and I'm sorry to do this with the confidential, I have to let you know. Since I walked away from council, I've been dealing with some issues, and I feel like if I just get them out of my system, I'll feel better. There are things I won't say, but there are things that I will. The people who were fired, Diego, Mary, Platt, and Craig, Miss Anna Lynn told me she was going to fire them long before it happened. There are other names on the list.
That is not the truth.
That is absolutely the truth, and this is how I know you lied to me, because you're looking right at me and lying to me. She also told me she put Chief Hurtado she wrote him up, and this is what the city actually needs to know you all are doing.
Bring it up during public business from the floor, please. Okay, thank you. And it's just your.
And nobody can tell me to shut up. I have a right to speak. So my 3 minutes at the end, you can bet your ass I'm gonna speak.
Okay.
And I would just caution that if there's any information that we discuss in closed session.
No closed session items. Simply me and Anna.
Yes, sir. I think it's on.
Good evening, Al Lesson. Going on to this check 106,347 to Andy Heath, the $8,125. What we don't have with Andy Heath is a contract requiring specific performance. So what he essentially is doing is just turning in a bill and expecting to be paid, when essentially he's repeating the same mistakes that he had made on his previous budgets and such. So we're paying him to correct his own mistakes. So what needs to happen is he needs to be terminated, and Harvey M. Rosen Associates LLC be contacted to recommend a CPA, Harvey M. Rosen Associates. They are the auditing firm that was selected, that audited Victorville and Watsonville. So they're very well credentialed. We need to contact them to get a recommendation for a CPA firm to do our accounting. The next item is check 106,872. That's for $79,696.56. That is ostensibly to fill the lake, but in that same check,
$20,533.06 is designated as a lake. Now, the question is, on the 79,000, is that potable water? Is it going into the lake, or is it going to TDS? And which fund did that money come out of?
I don't have an 872. Al, there is no check 872. The highest check is 421.
And Al, the other check that you talked about, 106, it's 106,347.
Yes.
347? Okay.
346. But still, there's,
Is that for ABAC?
we don't know. It's not designated. We don't know where the water's coming from.
347 is not that check.
No.
Yes, ma'am.
Al, I'll get you an answer. I'll get you the detailed report.
Okay, I think the public needs to know, because this is a nice piece of change that's been expended, but you know where it comes from. And one other item on here that's kind of disturbing, and that's the check 106,361 that's going to Southern Cal Edison for $291,961.92. And that covers several billings. This is the first time in 10 years plus that I have seen a check for that amount of money made out to Southern Cal Edison. And the question becomes, why are we not paying that on a monthly basis instead of getting a big chunk?
Ma'am.
SoCal, we've been working with SoCal Edison and GES, and so that was suspended until we could apply the credits to the right place on that bill. So they agreed that it not be paid until we came to an agreement on the credits and set up the bill.
Okay, so there, I think there were about 3 or 4 billings on that. On the total dollar amount.
3 or 4 billings, you mean months? Cycles.
Cycles, yeah.
On that total amount?
Yes.
I'll get you the detailed report.
Okay.
Looks like when the check registered, looks like the largest amount was from March 11th to June 1st, and that was for $135,000.
Why in the heck are we so far behind on paying the bills? That's the question.
Yeah. She will get you that answer, sir.
Okay,
Thank you.
anybody else?
Nobody else is coming up? Bringing it up here.
Sure. Yeah, CC3, the chief is not here, I have some questions, so I'd like to have that pulled till next council meeting or whenever he's here to answer the questions in regards to that.
Does everybody want the CC3 called for further discussion at the next council meeting?
Want the record to show that CC3 is going to be pulled and tabled until the next council meeting for further discussion. To get some clarification on some things. Anything else, sir? That's it.
No, the checks that were, had a question were
Sir,
Okay. That being said, looking for a motion to approve CC1, CC2, and table CC3.
I make that motion.
Second.
Okay, roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Stenavich?
Aye.
Paris?
Yes.
Smith?
aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Stump?
Yeah, aye.
Mayor McGuire?
Yes.
Motion carries.
I gotta bring up, bear with me for a second, folks, okay, this is, can I, do you have a hard copy? For a second. You want, no, just for CC, or for, PH1.
on the page.
Okay, well, thanks.
Hey, Sean.
Okay, this is public hearing one. Reading this is consider approval of the following zone changes, ZC and general plan amendments, TGA, Community Development Director Alexander.
Yes, Mayor McGuire, members of the council.
And just before we
This
do that,
is the time and the place for a public hearing to consider multiple zone changes. General plan amendment. In all, there are 8 projects that the council will be considering. And as you know, the state limits us to 4 times a year. That's one of the reasons we have so many on this one public hearing night. So, thank you. So, the zone changes were all pretty much generated by the city's acting first with the medical marijuana ordinance in 2016. That was modified in 2017 when it became the medical cannabis ordinance. And then a little more than a year ago, in August of 2018, the council adopted the current cannabis businesses and cannabis dispensaries ordinance. These have all generated the desire for these zone changes. So if you take a look at the whole city, we all know we have over 200 square miles in Cal City, but it's important to point out that the vast majority of this land is currently open space and residential agricultural, which is pretty much, it's everything in the white. And you really can't do a great deal with that in terms of urbanization. So what has happened is, in order to facilitate the cannabis industry, we've had a few cases, we had existing buildings where they were able to take over, but the vast majority has required new construction. So if you take a look at the central portion of the city, you'll see there are 3 basic areas that we're going to be talking about tonight. The first is the Airport and Aurelia area. The second is pretty much consolidated around the 20 Mule Team area. And thirdly, Highway 58. So let's begin. Again, here are the 8 different projects, and when we go to each project, the number will light up on the map on the left. We're going to begin with Michael Ellison, project number 1. We're looking at a proposal to change from this ORA to M1. Here's the site. It's north of Karen and to the west of Nerelia. Project number 2, also Michael Ellison, 4.6 acres, and it is located in the same general vicinity, north of Karen and west of Nerelia. Project number 3, Leyland Crowley, ORA to M1. There are actually 6 different parcels comprising 11.2 acres. Project number 4, also Leyland Crowley, R1 to M1. This comprises 140 acres. It's actually 2 large parcels out in the 20 Mule Team Parkway area. Project number 5, the applicant is DJ Twig. It comprises 20 acres. It's also in the 20 Mule Team area. As is project number 6, also DJ Twig, which comprises 25.9 acres in the 20 Mule Team area. Project number 7 was initiated by the City of California City. The intent here was to provide an opportunity for multiple property owners to take advantage of the expanding industrial base. So in almost all cases, we're talking about amending the property from its current zoning, which is C, commercial. It's almost entirely all vacant in the airport area. The intent would be for these properties to become M1. And it should be pointed out that any permitted uses in the commercial are also permitted in the M1. So no one is losing any opportunities by this change of zone. And here are the reasons the Planning Commission gave for initiating the zone change. First of all, it was looking for properties that don't encroach on existing residential. They should be vacant. They should be proximate to good roadway access, proximate to utilities, and finally, the project area will offer numerous opportunities. So essentially, if the council adopts this zone change and general plan amendment, you're changing everything north of Lindbergh from C2 to M1. And also, there's a buffer zone south of Lindbergh from residential to commercial. The final project area is over in the Highway 58 area. DJ Twoig is the applicant for Canna Systems Corp. It's 118.3 acres. It would gain access from Highway 58. And if this were to develop, there might have to be some additional improvements to the interchange at 58 and the Hyundai Kia Boulevard. So that would conclude the staff report. I apologize for my hoarseness.
Could you go back to the slide before this one, please?
Sure.
I was trying to see the thing. All right, thank you.
So again, we're looking at a total of about 374 acres and 160 parcels. The Planning Commission and the staff recommend that the council approve the resolution approving the general plan amendments and also adopt the ordinance amendment. That would conclude our presentation. Sean or I would be very happy to answer any questions you may have.
Mr. Mayor, may I?
Sorry, go ahead.
I'm not seeing a number attached to the forest redwood. Is that just, is that already existing M1 over there?
Yes, nothing new tonight.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Okay, City Clerk, to report on any communications that you received?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. Call the public, this is open for public testimony.
One easy question now about Cal City. Out on the airport stuff out there where all the little lots are, that was designated a long time ago to have a runway access from those lots. Is that still going to be available after this ordinance is in?
I think 9/11 took care of that for us.
No, I didn't.
Yeah. Yeah, if you see where Von Braun Way is located, that would have been the primary spine to create the extension for the taxiway. And just below that, we're actually having to split that property. Those properties were sold off privately. They probably never should have been if you wanted to maintain them as rights of way.
Well, there's two Von Brauns there, though.
Yes, but the island in the middle, I believe, was going to be used for the taxiway. So, I believe the answer to that is that opportunity seems to have been lost.
Is there anybody else with any questions from the public? Hearing none, looking for a motion to close public testimony.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Council discussion. Anything?
Let's hope it brings us a ton of businesses, ton of jobs and economic opportunity to our city. I think it's a beginning and not an end to consolidating the zoning, so it doesn't look as much like spot zoning. I'm speaking of Landsberg, Mojave. The others all seem to be contiguous. But like I said, in the interest of having opportunities for new businesses to come, I'm all in favor of this. So,
Mr. Mayor, I have great respect for our planning commission. To echo what Dr. Nick said, I'm glad to see where they are. I'm not a fan, but as I make a decision for our community, I think these are good spots. My question would be, with the failure to realize tax dollars from the cannabis industry, do any of these that are applying, if I could direct this to our city manager, do any of these companies owe taxes, cannabis taxes to our city?
Not at this time. They're not in operation, but they're all, yeah.
So every, 'cause I know some of these are in operation, are they current with their cannabis taxes?
The ones that have cannabis here, these zone changes are, yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
With that, looking for a motion now, how are we going to word this since it got changed on us? There should be two motions. There should be one for the ordinance to approve the resolution as presented. Okay, so, all right, so we're looking for a motion to approve the general plan, correct? The resolution, which would, for the general plan. Looking for a motion on that.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, we got a first, looking for a second.
I'll second.
Got a first and second. So this is just, there doesn't have to be a roll call vote, correct? Okay. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
I have to recuse myself on 1 and 2, and then I'll say aye.
On 1 and 2?
Yes. Project number 1 and number 2.
You're refusing on that?
Yes.
And aye on the rest?
That's correct.
Okay. And now for the, what's the ordinance number? Because I don't have it here.
Just one.
What is it?
19777.
777?
Yes.
Looking for a motion to approve the ordinance, number 19777 of the City Council of the City of California City, rezoning 160 parcels located within the City of California City.
Make that motion.
Got a first?
I'll second.
Got a second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I have to recuse myself on 1 and 2,
Other than that, it's aye.
That's correct.
Madam Clerk, did you get all that?
I did.
Mayor Pro Tem. Okay? All right. All right, going to continued business 1. Contracts for Visitor Center, Equipment Shop, Superior Construction, and Roger Haney, Project Engineer. Sanders, OHV.
Good evening, council. My apologies for not being here at the last council meeting. I did take a little bit of time off. So the revisions that were requested at the last council meeting regarding the, change order paragraph in the contract was changed by the city attorney's office. And subsequently, I included the, bid or the project scope in each of the, contracts that we have tonight. And we're just asking for the project to proceed.
Does anybody from the public have any questions or statements? Seeing that, bringing it up here. Sir?
I guess my only request I would have made is that when we provided a new packet with revisions to a contract, it would have been appropriate for them to have red line revisions and show us where you actually deleted items and how you changed and edited the contract. I mean, I was able to see what you just eliminated one sentence as what it amounts to, but it should have been brought to us as a red line so that it would have been it would have been easier for us to find those changes, those revisions.
We will do that.
That's a question, we have a discussion later.
On that? On the red line thing?
Yeah, that was just a direction to
Well,
staff,
no,
it
I
should have,
think
it should have been there as a red line.
It's a very good suggestion.
So we'll just bring that forward from there on, anytime we get anything?
Yeah, oh no, that's standard procedure, anywhere else I go.
Anything else, sir?
This was questions or is it discussion?
Well, it's questions right now, and we'll
Okay,
begin.
that's the only question.
Any questions, sir?
No questions.
Sir? No questions. The only question I have is, dealing with the electrical. That's $60,000, how is that gonna be covered?
It's covered from the retained earnings that we have from the permits, and it's part of the project, so it can be also applied to the grant.
Okay, I was under the impression that that was gonna be done by, volunteers.
No, sir, it's gonna be done by city staff. Joe Barragan said that he would help get the project going. And then the, ground operations crew that I have will do the work under Joe's direction. So you're not having Public Works do it. Joe's an electrician.
I understand that, but what's the legalities of him having to be there to supervise if they work under his contract? Under his contractor's license?
Yeah, I don't know if I wanna have that discussion publicly. There's some issues with having an employee perform duties that are similar to what their job duties are. In terms of volunteer work, if that's what you're asking.
But he wasn't volunteering, he would be paid to do the job as part of his work. It's not a volunteer.
Well, my concern is that he's got a lot on his plate now, and he won't be able to keep all that time out there to supervise to make sure, not unless one of these, whoever from, grounds, and not unless they're a licensed contractor in the state of California.
But they're employees of the city. They don't have to be a licensed contractor of the state of California.
True.
They're employed by California City.
I understand that, but this is a city building gonna be open to the public.
Pool house, perfect example. Pool house in the fire department, did the same thing.
Okay.
I think your question was really aimed at whether it was appropriate for Joe to inspect his own work.
Yeah,
But if that was an issue, then we could always have a county inspector come in and do the inspections. There's no, if there's a concern for that kind of a conflict, the county's available for that one particular part of the project, probably not a problem.
Also, don't we have another, inspector, do we have, Robert King?
Yeah, but he's on, I think he's on my duty, he just had surgery.
He was back today.
Mr. Mayor, I see the greater issue is our acting public works director, who is swamped for time, how is he going to have time to do that? And taking away from what should be done in the city, putting that time, in the building, I think that's a pretty big issue.
Does anybody else from the public have anything to say on this? If not, looking for a motion.
Could I then ask for one question?
Yes, sir.
Jim, Mr. Prater, you brought this to us and, found this for us. Are you comfortable with the changes that's made?
If I wasn't, I'd be up there talking.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, looking for a motion.
You talk about the thing that you had possible, questions on.
Yeah, if there's an urgent issue that needs to be addressed, you would have to, on a 4/5 vote, add it to the agenda. Potential litigation item.
I'd make a motion that, we would honor Mayor Pro Tem Stump's desire for us to go into closed session.
Second?
Oh, okay, so just roll call vote or just a regular vote?
Just a regular, doesn't need to be roll call.
Okay, so the motion is that, possible potential litigation, that has come up, dealing with, continued business one, and we're gonna go into closed session and discuss that, correct?
Correct.
Okay, all in favor of that?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back in just a few minutes. Thank you.
There was one is resolution amending the GPA. The second is an ordinance. Zone GPA.
Yeah, that's the first reading.
Presentation.
Well, yeah, I just made the app.
One here, this is the greatest thing in the world.
So, there's a presentation before I don't understand. I don't understand either.
Yeah, it's all math. I was taking good credit, I just didn't, everything on the back end.
Follows the whole circuit. Black and white, everybody understood it. That's why everyone.
Yeah, thanks for coming. Hey, gentlemen.
Employees working on podcast, that's the legal ramifications. All close back and forth, this time. All of the spots, different legal ramifications, if I get hurt on the job, working on the contractor, sidetrack. I think that's what it comes down to. Legal outcomes. Contractor doing all the electricity, and gets hurt on the job, that's his contract. That's the rule. Things you can play job. Alright, fine. I think I'm hungry. There's a pizza for us.
I know.
We had pizza yesterday. I had frozen pizza for lunch. Pizza's out.
My wife was gonna order pizza from Roxy's restaurant Sunday night, but he doesn't cook pizza or fried chicken on Sunday night. Yeah, every night of the week except Sunday. Every night. So we went to Graciano's for pizza.
You mean DiMaggio's?
DiMaggio.
Yeah, I'm glad we got ours out of the way. How do you feel about Syria? How do you feel about the Syria, or not Syria, the Turkish? Did you hear about that? So basically, Trump said we're going to back Turkey and annexing the Kurdish area, which has generally been, they're our allies against ISIS, so we've been supporting them. GOP came out and they're against it. Colin Powell said our foreign policy is just destroyed.
Yep.
That's why he's
I was surprised. Back in Phoenix, it's 90 degrees still.
Yep, I believe it.
90 degrees.
What, 50 something?
8 o'clock there. They probably had monsoon. It'll rain and all that moisture is retained with heat. And then all the concrete there. Phoenix Airport is the hottest place in the state. So a lot of
It's supposed to be 85 degrees outside right now here.
Get a cold streak there for a bit.
And the wind advisory for Wednesday until 11 p.m.
I know, right? It's because it's not Monday, but on Monday Night Football.
I tried, got hurt. And I kept falling to the side. I'm like, what? I'm gonna swim back to the board. I'm just gonna fall forward. I caught it under my hip. Oh my gosh, that hurt. Yeah. Trying to get lessons because he works down there. He works in like El Segundo. One of those beaches. He's actually surrounded by the 4 beach towns. You throw a rock in the beach, but there's
Like OB, PD, and everything.
yeah, he's 1,700 in an old with a big street out front. Yeah, it could be, but it is a lot. He's taking too much on that check.
Tell him I'm written from there or not. Right over here.
Yeah, much better. You have 3 offices?
Yep. Yeah, one's the coldest, so I have a room.
Too cold or too hot. You gotta have a cooling master to sleep on top.
That's true, that's true. That's correct. That's true.
Master has all these features.
He makes the subject
forget your job description. Allows them to sign a hard contract, 3 years. One year at a time, 1 year rate.
Well, it was just like they should have run it. It was easy. But now I think it, call me back, I called them, I was trying to get more information.
Yeah, oh, yeah, yeah.
You know?
Oh. She has something personal going on. I was waiting for like. Oh, yeah, exactly. Keep me updated. Cause I really like.
A couple different articles I had to get on our website. And then, yeah, it was amazing. All of a sudden,
Make sure we don't be angry, because angry doesn't get it right.
Right, there was a movie on the beach. We watch it all the time. Right. Right, I know, but I mean, in the original press.
They're trying to study their own parking.
Oh, really?
The position.
That's all I gotta.
How do you just, you really, how do you smile?
I like middle through the
Oh.
Look at mine, I think I probably downloaded it, maybe just didn't.
Yeah, they're, right now, they're, I think they're planning.
The water also is not as cold.
That's her plan.
Well, they had two, like, where they had two.
Every time I go, I'm on the, it gets all like, yeah, I know, what is this?
Right.
A little more disturbed.
Yeah, I know, but it's, this is the joke. Oh, it was
No storms, that stirs up the ocean.
Channel Islands are such a marijuana.
Great, find that one.
3 years down the road, all the people have bought into it. Or sold it. And I, let me tell you, outrageous.
Breaking rent.
She was the guy that did our city for 20 years. 3 years. We got him in one. And Canada's ordinance,
My daughter's in Korea. She's got like 4 roommates.
just like put in the water. Plant, bottle water. We couldn't export it.
The housing market could drop.
So where did it go?
You do and you don't.
Right, that's what, you know.
He
You
started
know what
with
happens?
a 2-car garage and now he
The
has
economy dies.
a mile.
Then you don't have the comfort to be able to spend money because you might,
And his
your job might be.
spent overnight here in House City.
I don't want to
His
spend.
original drivers were all in House City. Cause like, you know, let's go to Las Vegas, just go right down.
Another problem is in Americans are way overborrowed.
And these people,
You know, way more
A lot of
than
them have been buying new cars the last
Glaze
5
over.
or 10 years.
plenty of.
who would want to do that? But they don't have a plan. You want to home every time.
Yeah, well,
Do you
Some have
remember?
been holding on to the cars for, so eventually I'm
You
gonna
remember
do
when?
2 or 3 all at once.
yeah,
Police
My
officers.
newest cars
The
were
company
all,
was working.
oh, yeah.
They gave them a hard time.
so as they're getting up there in age, and a bunch of them be like,
They gave them a hard time.
price of cars now.
She was in outrage.
4-wheel drive truck, they paid 40 for it.
He went
That same
outrage.
truck's like
He went
70 or
outrage.
80.
She was fun then.
Out of the house.
He didn't care. Yeah. From one notice. Civil.
Yeah, that's go way down.
You own your car? I actually just got from somebody's stuff. From meeting. I come on my phone, that's okay. Reason I asked if I been here a long time, it was lots of, it was so, the premise, runway, we would go out and place your farm.
Oh, wow. She doesn't like the park.
That's not new, really no one does that. That's how these current families, they do it, and goes into the runway, so you're hanging on your top.
And you're doing this?
That's what that was designated.
No, she was.
Let's take,
Oh, wow. But she takes most of her classes in Lancaster.
urbanizing everything.
Oh, that's.
Well, you
yeah.
should
Yeah, my
urbanize.
mom lives in
I'd say that I know, so I guess
Like,
people
if she has a
really
3-hour gap,
need to have
she'll go to her mom's house for 2 hours, do her homework, or
There's some
go to
people.
the gym or whatever.
Way better than this was.
Right, you see the city build up roofs, they're not paying back that way.
I would, I mean, if I were in charge, if I were king, I would take Lancaster, Antelope Valley,
You know what I'm saying?
from all the way to Ridge Crest.
Something like spend $15,000
Makes so much
on
more
a survey.
sense. You know, and they would get off in
Survey.
LA. Hartford, you
But
guys
money in.
know,
Right, because we're not,
I can't.
we don't have the politics or the population influence.
Not much.
They're like the outcasts, yeah.
That's what Bonds is. Redhead, stepchild, LA
Westfield.
County, redhead, stepchild, Kern County. We're already talking. It's so hard to use, you know.
You have a lot of antiques. Anyway.
Verb.
Huh?
Yeah, everything.
Do my best. You know how busy it is.
Okay, we are back from our closed session.
There's nothing to report.
Madam City Manager, in reference to Mr. Berrigan, would he have any time to do this?
He does not have time to do this. He works till 10 at night, gets up at 6, 7 in the morning. And there's a lot on his plate. So I am concerned with him volunteering for doing this.
So, do we have any motion on anything?
Based on what we were initially told, this was not gonna cost the city anything. I don't see how in our financial situation that we can proceed. Superior was obviously expecting that there were going to be change orders. But we don't have the funds to do this. For the electric, if we were to put in the sprinkler system, which is recommended by the fire department, we just don't have funds. This is not emergent. We don't have the funds when we are trying to save our city. And I would make a motion that, that based upon what we have been told and what we know now, that this project should not proceed.
You got a motion that, this project should not proceed? Looking for a second, if there is a second.
I'll make that second.
Okay, we have a first and a second, for this to cease. Madam Clerk?
Councilmember Lucinovich?
Yes yes means it will not proceed, no means it will continue.
The issue here is use of funds above and beyond those already allocated to the project. If there are to be monies that have to come from the general fund to make up the the deficit in the cost of the construction. We said initially at our vote that we could not have any further funds come from the general fund. My answer is yes.
Harris,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Stump,
Echoing on what Councilman Lucinovich said, we have two problems. One, cost changes, project changes or whatever it's called, and I think 25% is budgeted into that. But the more immediate problem is with Mr. Barragon not being able to do the electrical work. That amounts to a lot of money that we have not allocated, and so because of that, I have to say yes also.
Mayor McGuire,
Everybody's spoken our concerns, or my concerns also with that. I'll say yes.
motion carried.
Public business from the floor. This portion of the meeting is reserved for persons desiring to address the city council on any matter not on this agenda and over which the city council has jurisdiction. Please state your name for the record and please limit your comments to 3 minutes.
My name is Becky Vasquez. What else?
What else? You live in California City.
I live in California City, been here a little over 2 years. I'm here on behalf of my husband, who's not able to address the council, so Mayor McGuire, city councilman, and the public. I am here to comment on spending and public safety. The politicians in Washington, D.C. and Sacramento tend to measure their success based on how much they spend. They will proudly make statements like, I co-sponsored the education bill that will spend an additional $120 billion on education, or the spending may be on defense or some other pet project. It appears that in city council here in California City measures their success based on how little they spend. The goal seems to be to cut taxes and spending. In my home, we take a little different approach. The goal is to get the best value for our money. We try to make sure we are not buying things we don't need. When we do spend money, we look at it as if it will accomplish the goals we set out. In evaluating the measure C, the city council speculated whether the public was voting to spend $153 or $182.50 per year on public safety. The truth is, we will never know. What we do know is that the public wants our city to be safe. There is still great concern about crime in our city, and it is hurting us in many ways. Let me share just one exchange that took place on Facebook. Inquirer: Hi, my name is Darnell. I currently live in Washington, D.C. I'm thinking about moving to California City. Many people responded. I was going to read some of the responses, but I decided not to because I don't want to perpetuate the extreme negativism. Let me just say that many of the early responses told Darnell, don't move here. The city is filled with crime and drugs. Our crime is hurting the city. It is creating negative attitudes. It is being used to turn people away. Citizens bad-mouthing our city on Facebook is not helping us to grow. The newspaper filling half the paper with crime reports does not help either, nor does people putting up signs to publicize our crime to the world. I could tell them to stop, and they should, but that doesn't deal with the real problem. The real problem is the crime, not the reporting of it. The citizens of California City voted in monies for public safety. Now it's time to deliver. The police department and others need to put together a comprehensive plan to deal with crime. We need clear objectives for crime reduction and target dates to achieve the milestones. Simply responding to calls does make does little to make us safer. We need more. I don't mean to put out all the responsibility on the police force. They can do it on their own. The entire community must be devoted to making California City a safe community. A year from now, I want to read an inquiry on Facebook about California City and see responses that say something like, I have to warn you that California City has a lot of crime, but it is getting much better. There has been noticeable improvement in the last year. Things are really turning around. You should come and check us out. California City has its problems, but it has some great people too, and I love it here. I think you will too. I am going to close with a plug for I Love Cal City. Go to the website, ilovecalcity.com, click on the tab for City Talk, and listen to Ponder Session number 2, What Makes a Community Truly Safe, and enter in the conversation. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, ma'am. Anybody else?
Good evening, Al Hudson. I've got a laundry list tonight. One, the city manager should rescind the modification of the contract between the city and Meister. The reason is because Stockwell, on his own, by his own accord, removed the completion condition on the contract. Now, Councilman Stump knows very well that in all government contracts and most every other contract, there's a completion clause. What makes that particularly egregious is that Chief Vincent alleged a bribery attempt by Meister, and removing a completion condition just about smacks of corruption, and that's being nice. The second thing is we've had a lot of cannabis cultivators leave because of the lack of utilities and all of that. So what I did a research project on outdoor cultivation and the attraction of it. Basically, from a seed supplier's website, one seed would produce 450 grams of cannabis with indoor cultivation. That same seed would produce 2 to 5 pounds. We need to attract reinvestment here in the city. Now, moving on, there's a TRO that's been issued against Silver Saddle. And the receiver has been appointed to locate all assets. From what I've been told over the years is that TDS, Tierra del Sol, belongs to Silver Saddle. And the other thing that's related is that Silver Saddle ran up a $79,000 water bill a couple of years ago. We had to go after them to get their debt and have them paid. Now, with the receiver in place and there not being a lot of funds available, and that should be, they should be required to put up a deposit for their water money, to pay for the water bill. And it needs to be taken into consideration. The next is that late fees and such are still appearing on people's water bills, and we thought that was to be removed, and it essentially hasn't. The last thing is Councilman Stump. I don't see how in the world you having an accounting degree, you could possibly approve a budget that was presented by Andy Heath. It was $1.5 to $2 million deficit, or rather, it did not account for the money expended on the extended budget. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, one last little thing. On the notification of our time limits, we would appreciate it if it were more discreet.
Well, we'll see what we can.
I'll not be discreet, but I ask a question, somebody has to answer it, I don't care who answers it. We have a park out there at Silver Saddle. The city has a park out there at Silver Saddle. Has Habitat in it already. What's Fish and Game gonna say about all this? The attorney can tell us. Pro bono. What are we gonna do about the park out there? You're just gonna close it, they shut the water off, the grass will die, the trees will die. Who are we punishing? Who are we helping? Tell me, who are
That
we
is
helping?
coming from the state of California's, business oversight, Department of Business Oversight.
Have we been in contact with them?
We have been in contact with them since Friday and through the weekend. We are still waiting for a response.
Are we gonna allow them to close our park down out there? They take the school kids out there all the time, you know.
I don't know how that's going to go.
That's Habitat out there, it's been there for
It's been
40-some years.
It's been there since '71.
Yeah. And we need to do something about it ourselves. We can't worry about what the state's gonna tell us they're gonna do, because they're not gonna do anything.
Well, there's a court order, so.
Well, let's have our own court. We'll have a kangaroo court right here. We got the attorney. They need to be told what we wanna do. Even if they don't do it,
And we
at
have
least we
told
have
them
a say in
that.
it.
We have told them that. And we're waiting for a response.
Well, when will the public know the response?
As soon as we get it, we'll let the whole world know.
GWC all over again.
That's coming from Sacramento. That's
Yeah,
not-
but still, GWC all over again.
It's not coming from us. Great Western cities. Anybody else?
So, things are going on here, Tammy Johnson, Cal City, things are going on that bother me. And to the people who sit out in the audience and aren't bothered by some of this, shame on you. And do you really care about the citizens of your community? Jobs have been eliminated, people's livelihoods taken from them. And maybe there was a good reason for every single one. And so I'm not privy to the personnel issues that go on. But I was told, and you did tell me, sitting in my office, and she can sit there and shake her head, but she absolutely told me that she would like to get rid of Mary Johnson, Diego, a couple of names that I will hold on to because she hasn't gotten rid of them yet. And I'm worried that the fire chief fell into that same regard.
Point of order, not discuss personnel.
Yeah, I would caution you that in your role as a council member previously, you had an obligation to the city not to create liability for the city. So just, you're allowed to criticize, just be careful in your comments. That they're not
Meaning
going
what, exactly?
Don't use
taking information that you may have been privy to at the time and using it to create litigation against the city.
Okay,
Just-
I'm not
just-
litigating anybody.
Okay,
And also, while we're at Mr. Bettenhausen, when I put my resignation online, then you took what should have been communication between you and the council members, or you and Anna, and you put that out online. But I didn't, I took the high road, and I didn't show him the other email that you sent me. The email in which he profusely apologized, because it absolutely was 100% his fault he didn't open that email until Thursday. It said urgent, and it said resign on
Point
it.
of order.
He did, why is this out of order?
No, she's entitled.
I have 1 minute and 17 seconds left. I don't care, you can all be upset with me. But see, I'm just as responsible for bad things that happen in this town if I don't stand up and say something. And what I'm saying and what I'm letting people know is things have been orchestrated. And y'all might not believe it, but a couple other people say, watch what happens. And I'm begging the public to watch what happens.
Thank you. Anybody else? Seeing none or hearing none, council agenda. This portion of the meeting is reserved for the council members to present information, announcements, and items that have come to their attention. The Brown Act precludes council staff or public discussion. Short staff responses are appropriate. The council will take no formal action. A council member may request the city clerk to calendar an item for consideration at a future meeting or refer an item to staff. Does anybody have any AB 1234s? Councilman Sinovich.
Do you think we're gonna have a budget, a revised budget in our hands for the next council meeting?
Yes.
I have not received yet the consultant review of the waste management contract that was originally issued, when we switched from Ben's to waste management, and I've been asking for that. I did receive water output from the wastewater treatment plant, but I have not received year-to-date potable water output from the water department, and I'd like that before the budget meeting. I think there's someplace in here the manager's supposed to tell us her major issues that are coming, that have happened since the last meeting as well. It's appropriate for, there's things that I don't know, because I don't go in and sit at your desk every day, or hardly ever actually, but when those meetings, when those items come up, it would be appropriate at the council meetings to tell the community what is going on, that are problems coming forward, issues that are a concern. It's just a way of letting us know what's going on. I still have some more. I think that that what is occurring with Silver Saddle is going to change our perspective on Tierra del Sol, and I don't know what that is going to evolve. But the idea that the city is going to have to come up with a solution for Tierra del Sol is the truth. And if that involves forming a subcommittee of the council, some form of consultancy, the problem is real, and we're going to have to face it. It can't just continue the way it is. We pay now for maintenance of the course twice as much as we paid when we had a pro, and we do not have a pro on the course. So we're paying considerably more just to take care of the course than we did before. 218 requires this water issue to be resolved, and we are going to come up with some solutions, but it still may make Tierra del Sol an unaffordable luxury in California City, and we have to be prepared to actually confront that and choose to either deal with it or run away from it. But it is something that Al brought to us, or Mr. Powers brought to us, and it is appropriate to move forward that way. Anyway, those are the items. I don't want us to lose track of the big pictures that we have coming above us. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. Sir?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Two issues. This 420 Friday night traveling party that's going on at Aspen Mall. Something has to be done about that. Then I have a question on the track and trace. Is track and trace still required in our city and by the state for?
Yes.
Okay. So if there is a manufacturing, if there is a distribution, if there is a dispensary that is not using track and trace, would that be illegal?
Be out of compliance, yes.
So I really think that the purpose for it was supposedly for the tax purposes. And if people are having business without having a track and trace, what's the purpose, what's their purpose for it?
And testing.
And, I think that has to be a major issue, for us.
If you have some information, you might wanna give it to the CM, so she can take the appropriate action for it. That would be the best. That way we can get the city attorneys involved also.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Anything else, sir?
No, thank you.
Sir?
I think that, our city manager's done a great job. You've been under a lot of pressure lately. But I think you've done a great job as far as leading this city. Shows that you don't need, 30-year resume to do the correct thing, and really appreciate the communication that you and your entire staff have with us. Congratulations on, I think we might have said last time, but congratulations on getting the unqualified. That's a big thing off our back, and go ahead.
For the TDA audit, we haven't completed the actual audit yet. the city.
Okay. But, just appreciate everything that you guys are doing, and, my friend sitting back there, Mr. Hudson, again, I go from being, number one to, minus, whatever the lowest is, but as I told him previously, that's good, because I don't wanna be in the middle. I wanna be either at the top or the bottom. And I know that, the city manager's working on a budget. Again, the thing that I appreciate about the budget that you did, again, not perfect as I said last time, but the thing I appreciated is, it's the closest that we've seen so far, and it also gives 5-year projections, and that's what a lot of us in the city wanted to see. We wanted to see a strategic budget, and that's what that is, so I appreciate that. And appreciate working with these gentlemen up here. We've had a great council, and hopefully we'll continue to look at what's best for the city in the time ahead. Thank you.
In reference to the prices of water and stuff and the late fees, once this budget is approved, we can then move to the master fee schedule, and that's where that information will be. And so as soon as we get this budget passed, then we can start addressing things that need to be addressed. As far as TDS goes and Silver Saddle, the city had absolutely nothing to do with this. A matter of fact, when we were given the quitclaim deed, that was 38 days after that they received a court order that they were not supposed to give anything away. So I don't know what's going to happen. We've had the city has handled TDS since about 97, thereabouts. So we're looking at 22 years. We have expressed our concerns to the state of California and to DVO, and the attorneys have been working very hard all weekend with this. This is a concern of ours, and so hopefully it's going to be something for the positive for the city, because we need it. Other than that, to all the city employees, everybody rocks. They do a lot of work for everybody, and just want to say thank you publicly to the city employees. Noticed just a couple minor water leaks that I guess they've come up. So and I know that the employees went out there to take care of that, but are we starting to see more water leaks again? Can we find?
Speak to that?
Yeah, sure, I mean,
It just seems like all of a sudden.
it's no secret our system is failing. Well, we do have now, we have the ability to look at our system through SCADA and see what the PRV pressure is. If the pressure does rise for a reason, it will put a strain on our system. But, we've always had leaks, what we try to minimize is the blowouts.
Yeah, and that's what, it just seems that all of a sudden and usually that happens spring and fall, that I remember before we get a lot of them, so I just, if we're in the norm for us, okay. But other than that, thank you everybody for attending, looking for a motion.
Can I say one more thing on them? Thank you for the job that you guys have done, putting the hydrants all over the part of the north part of the city where I live. There's hydrants everywhere, and you guys have done a great job. You're rocking.
Okay, looking for a motion?
Make that motion.
Look for a second.
Second.
All
Aye.
in favor? All opposed? Thank you all so very much for attending tonight.
I didn't want to. Oh, I put it. Yeah, well, actually, the
DJ. I'm coming. Let me just.
Yeah. This is my nightmare. This is. No challenge. Whatever. This is not even that. Yeah. At a time. We do need to fix it. Yeah. Well,